Hello, everyone. Good evening. Today is October 6th. This is our Circassian class, TPRS, to learn Circassian. So every class we try to experiment with a few more things, see if there's a way that, we can see how this process, this method will work for us. Today, I am going to experiment with something. There is an American polyglot who is in a class that I'm in with Hamid Nazar, one of my friends. And it's interesting. He's an American dude, just an American dude. I think he's in Dallas. And he can read Circassian like no one's business. Like you give him an encyclopedia entry, you give him stereo instructions, you give him technical stuff, he'll just plow through it. He doesn't always understand everything he's reading, but he can plow through it. So last week, we experimented using a method called intensive reading, where I would read him every syllable and tell him what it meant so he could derive the meaning of the word. And that was interesting to watch how he responded. It was also interesting for me to kind of do that. What we did today was a little bit like TPRS. It was like a modified version of TPRS, but we're going to experiment with a little bit of today. Now I'll see how you guys like it. But for now, let's just kind of dive in. So I'm going to move. I need like a bigger monitor. I need one of those big curved monitors that I see gamers have. Yeah, I think, Ahmad, you have like 4 of them. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a Samsung, right?
It is an LG.
LG. Yeah, I knew it was one of those. All right, let me.
John T, what is the name of the polyglot?
William Schuler?
Yeah. I think he was in some of our classes with Professor Hammett.
Yeah.
And I do remember him just speaking and reading really well and just being really blown away by him.
Yeah, he can read really, really well. He can read really well. Okay. So let me share my screen. There we go. All right, you guys can see my my slides.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So as time goes on, I'm not going to spend so much time reviewing. Part of the reason that we review is to make sure that all this stuff is solid in your brain, right? What we're trying to do, this method, the entire method is designed for you to think in this language and to construct statements in this language. It's not just about understanding, it's about producing speech. As you begin to produce speech, you are going to build neuromuscular connections in your brain that are going to connect your ears, your brain, and your mouth. And that is why probably by now, if I say, you guys understand every word in that expression. And to the day you die, you will probably never forget that phrase, right? It's because there's been so much repetition and because so many of you have either practiced that phrase or some variation of that phrase, okay? So the goal is for you guys to think in this language and to construct output in this language. So right now, I'm going to do a super quick review, and then we're going to move on to new content. So let's walk around the story a little bit. It's a very simple story, right? But what do we know? Okay, we know that. We know that dias, her dias, we have a dog. Abreg yitzas, his name is Abreg. Abreg has, Abreg is a dog. Abreg tzuks, zazamiza, sometimes, sasarobats. Zazamiza, sometimes, sasatzuchs, I'm a human. Sasatzuchma, if I'm a human. Sasasalas. Terminatri dias, we also have a terminator. Arjins. Smurferi dias, ar tzuks. Asmurfer khajabskum. Haj khajabskum. Ars alas. Okay, so this is all the stuff that we've learned. And then obviously there's some additional words on the sheet that are designed to be able to have you guys construct richer vocabulary statements or make questions and things of that nature. Before I move on, what I know this slide is dense, but it was designed to just consolidate a bunch of information. For those of you who don't have exposure to Cyrillic, does the appearance of Cyrillic and Latin letters, is the Cyrillic overwhelming to you, or does it feel comfortable? Like, hey, it's just another script. It doesn't feel scary. Does this feel okay? This dual scripting approach?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, cool. All right. So, class.
Sit.
Hey, Fajera, are you guys asleep?
Hour.
Class.
Sit.
Nart. Nashich. Sha'ash.
Whoa.
Nart Chicago Sha'a.
Hour.
Hawa. Sa Nashich Sisha'a.
Hour.
Hawa. Sa Dennis Sha'a.
What Chicago?
Sa Chicago Sisha'a. Pez. Class.
Sit.
Nart Guzavelwa Yeash. Oh. Nart Guzavelwa Yeash. Oh. So Nart, we know what Nart is. Nart. Nart is the boy. Yeash means he has. So what does he have here? He has a problem. How do we say problem in Circassian?
Guzavelwa.
Guzavelwa. Okay. So Circassian is a beautiful language. It's similar to Turkish or Arabic or German, where we have lots of word roots that if you learn a few hundred word roots, you will know thousands, tens of thousands of words, right? So here, Guzavelwa. Why do we say, we could say problem. Ar probleme yes, right? Problem is kind of an international word. Guzavelwa. So the first part here is gu. Anybody know what gu means? What's gu? Heart. Okay, gu. Wuz. What does wuz mean? Hurt. Exactly. Wuz. Sish harma wuz. Right. I have a headache. So when we say wuz, heartache. Right. Heartache. Wuzza. We're just connecting it. Okay. Anytime you see roi at the end of something, it means time to. So some of you may have heard your mother or your grandmother say khashhawa during Nashmaza, Ramadan. Khashhawa. It's time to break fast. Right? I don't know if any of you, I heard that as a kid growing up a lot. So when we say guzavelwa, it's a time of heartache. It's a time of heartache. So now, because I've taught you this, right, in the future, anytime you hear Allah coming out of a noun, you're going to know it's signifying time to. Okay. When I tell my kids it's time to go to sleep, I say, what the jin is to lay down or to sleep. So when I say, what the it means it's time to go to sleep. Time to. Okay. So, wuz, gu, heart, wuz, heartache, guzavelwa. And va, when we throw va in there, it means like it's very, very bad. Okay. So, nart guzavelwa yeash.
Whoa.
Inal.
Sit.
Daoshit.
Hono.
Khunsh. What the mom?
I don't know what that means.
Вахарзина. Тебе хорошо?
Yes, да.
Да. Wa guzavelwa.
Hawa. وغزفغو يعقم.
سيأقم.
سيعقم. سيعقم.
خنش. Tamam means хорошо, means good, fine. Okay.
Okay.
Nart.
Sit.
Haya.
Sit.
Dal verschutje. Tamam.
تمام.
Hamra.
تمام.
Tamam. Khunsh.
كون.
Kuzavawa fi'a.
حوا.
Hawa.
حوا.
Khunsh. Tamer.
Sit.
Sa guzavawa si'ash. Guzavawa si'ash. Wa guzavawa. Wa guzavawa wi'a.
وغزفغو وأشطم.
Are you telling me that I don't have a problem? Or are you telling me that you don't have a problem?
I don't have a problem.
Okay, so if you're gonna say you don't have a problem, you're gonna say sa
So,
guzavawa si'aqim.
yeah. Okay.
Okay, so wa guzavawa wi'a.
دا غزفغو سي أقم.
Okay, khunch. Wa pepsicole wi'a.
هوا.
Si'aqim.
سا بيبسي كولا سي أقم.
Okay. Ahmed.
Sit.
Wa computer wi'a.
Computer CH.
Sit with the computer.
Sa Apple computer CH.
Then we computer.
C computer C days.
Sidesh. Khunch. Tamam. Berzej.
Sit.
Worry. Computer wi'a.
انت سري كمبيوتر CH.
We computer formulaje.
وملاجة انت.
Seseri formulaje. Our Egyptsto lajerqam. But right now it's not working. Abish hatcha. Because of that, sa guzavawa si'ash. Wa guzavawa wi'a berzej.
هو جوز فهو سيأكم.
Khunch. Tamam.
تمام.
Margarita.
Sit.
What tamam?
تا. تمام.
وتمامش. Guzavawa wi'a.
س وزفغو سي أشقم.
Sa.
سي أقم.
Pez. Si'aqam. Fadidas. All right. Now, I want you to tell me that you do have a problem. All right. So I'm going to ask you again, but I want you to tell me you do have a problem. Okay. Wa guzavawa wi'a. You're muted right now.
Sorry, I didn't realize it was still my turn. I thought you were
It's okay.
addressing. Okay.
So wa guzavawa wi'a.
س وزفغو سي أش.
Sich hatcha. Say, I don't know.
How do I say I don't know?
So to say, I don't know, let me put it on the screen here. Give me a second here. So to say, I don't know, you're going to say, I'm trying to mapped letters. Okay, this is the best way to say it. Sarqam.
Sharpen.
Sarqam.
Sharpen.
So for anyone who speaks Abazak or Western dialects, this is tsarap. Tsarap. So Berzej, don't tell me to shut up.
I won't.
Okay, so Zanshawa,
Sit.
what was Sala?
Sashalish.
Dena was Sha'a.
Sa California. Sishash.
Hey, yes, Delwa did that. Sorry, also everyone together. Delwa did that.
That was
Okay.
Rodita.
What Zanshawa? What was a Veroia?
Sa Guazavawa Sikam. No, Siakam.
Hunch, tamam, tamam. Aslan,
Sit.
what were Robat?
Hawa. Sasis Alish.
What would Thick? Hamayin.
Yin.
You miss the Rosakam Nashamba. Rashi Ziri Zaran Kapuja Kapuja. Hunchta, then was Sha'a.
So New Jersey Sashash.
What? Pepsi Cola Wea.
Are you asking me if I like Pepsi Cola?
I'm asking you if you have Pepsi Cola.
Oh, okay.
So let's go back. Let's find the slide.
Okay.
Wow, lots of content here. Oh my God, where are we? Let me see.
I think have was on that same slide.
Which one? Yeah, it is. So I have sias. I don't have. Remember how to say I don't have something?
No.
We add qum.
Oh, come. Okay.
Okay. So what? Pepsi Cola? We
So Pepsi Cola. Siakam.
Hunch. Noor.
Sit.
What Los Angeles was sha'a?
Awa Egypt sa Newark Sishash.
Oh, such hacha.
Sa Shkola Sia.
Shkola. Yajapa we
Yajaba.
Yajapa. Guzavawa we
Egypt sa Guzavawa Siakam. Awa Shade sa Guzavawa Siash.
we anos.
Si Anu.
We anos. Si Shade Guzavawa si anos.
Shade Guzavawa Si Anush.
I will have a problem tomorrow. Such hacha.
Exam Siash.
Oh, exam, yes. Wow. Nasip wazot. I wish you luck.
So
Dua.
Sit.
Dawa shit. Tamam. Tamam. What? Dana was sha'a.
You're asking I am in, oh no, you're asking where am I, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so sa Sheesh, no, I'm sorry, sa New Jersey Sheesh.
Sishash.
Sheesh.
Tamam. What? Exam we
Sa Sheesh. Yes. So Sheesh. I'm trying to say it. Guazavwa.
Wa Guzavawa ويأس.
وزفغوا يأش.
Okay. So if I tell you that you have a problem, I'm going to say وزفغوا ويأس. And if you tell me, speaking as yourself, that you have a problem, you would say sa, right here, sa
Sa, okay.
وزفغوا
وزفغوا سيأش. Okay.
Okay. Rashi, so it's like saying tak if you speak Russian. Rashi, or you can say ata, nart وزفغوا يأس.
Wow.
Sitch hatcha, bjes ansh. Nar psaf yaqam.
Oh no.
Oh.
Nar psaf yaqam. Situ guzavawa. What a problem that is. All right. Nar psaf yaqam. Inal.
Sit.
Nar psaf yaqa.
Narpse af يا هوا ناربسي اف يأكم.
Pej. Nart. Heya. Fa shafia. Chaifi'a.
هوا
في أقم
هوا شايف سقف يأقم لا شايف يأقم.
You're mixing Abazak and Kabardian. So you would say Shai, She is how we say in Circassian. She bi'aqam.
أقم.
So you're saying we don't have bi'aqam.
Okay.
Tamer.
Sit.
Nart Apple computer ya.
Not Apple computer يأقم.
Nart psa'af ya.
Not سقف يأقم.
Not sit nart ya.
Not جزفغوا يأش.
Whoa, Dahwa! Sorry, Zahusu, Dahwa.
Good
Dahwa, bravo. Ahmed,
Sit.
wa Lenovo computer wia.
هوا Lenovo computer سيأقم.
Sit wia.
CR Macintosh computer version.
Or Ogos, I understand. Nart Macintosh computer ya.
هوا not Macintosh computer يأقم.
Sit nart ya.
Not كوزافاوا يأش.
Pej. Sit hacha.
Not بسقف يأقم.
Pej. Dahwa. Berzej.
Sit.
Nart Maximia.
هو نارتش عالش يفهم.
So Maxima is a traditional Circassian alcoholic beverage. 99% of them are alcoholic in nature. It's actually an ancient malt beverage. So it's like Circassian version of Old 40. So I asked Berzej, does Nart have Maxima? Margarita.
Sit.
Sit Nart yeah.
Nart Kozavagwa Yeash.
Pej Nart Uzavagwa Yeash. Sich Hacha.
Nart Psaf Yikam.
Yeakam Pej. Then the Nart.
Nart Nalshish Yeash.
Nart Nalshich Sheash.
Sheash.
Pej. Zanshawa.
Sit.
За сегупса сенсахуеш загорсып just mapos obzana kayipacha. Shumur. Do you remember that word I gave you for leopard? What was that? Shomish. Okay. Khunsh. Nart shomish.
Hawa, Nart Shalash.
Nart shalish. So shomish, everyone, is leopard. Okay. So Nart shalish. So Mishardana. Where's the leopard?
Shirkam.
Sharkam. Okay. Khunsh. Nart so Mishya.
Nart Shomish Yikam.
Pej. Nart so Mishya. Sit Nart ya.
Nart Guvagwa Wea? No, Yea.
Yes.
Yes.
Nart was a vela yes. Pej. Sich hatcha.
Nart Pseaf Yikam.
Pej. Nart pseaf yaqam. Class.
Sit.
Sa Maxima CS. Sa Maxima CS. So maybe later in the story, I will drink my Maxima. We'll see. Aslan.
Sit.
Nart Shomish. Is he a leopard?
Hawa. Narch Alish.
Nart Shalish. Nart Yin. Hamatzuk.
Nar Yin.
Nart Yinch.
Yinch.
Dana Nart.
What was that?
Dana Nart.
Narch Nart Nalshish Sha'a.
Pej. Nart. Psafia.
Nart Sa'af Yakum.
Pej. Sit Nart ya. Sit Nart ya.
Nar was a Vagwa Yash.
Nar was a velga yash. Pej. Sit hatcha. Sich hatcha.
Nar CF Yakum.
Pej. Dagwa. Sorry is also Dagwa. Lunch. Nur.
Sit.
Nart Maxima ya.
Hawa Maxima Yakum.
Wa Maxima wea.
Hawa Sepsi CH.
Psui ash. Khat Maxima ya.
Wa Maxima Wea.
Sa Maxima CH. Pej. Sa Guzavella CH. Sa Guzavella CH.
Yipstu Hawa Wa Guzafel Weakum.
CH subjects answers hatchami.
Okay.
Maxima Quadu was a fash.
Maxima Quadu was a
Quadu was just ash. Quadu. So I said, I have a problem. Why? Such hatcha. Sa Maxima. So this alcoholic Circassian beverage. Who knows what the word quad means? Quad. A lot. Anytime we add ukwa to the end of an adjective, it means too much. It's slishkam paruski. So it's too much. So if I say quad is a lot. If I say quadukwa, what does that mean?
Too much.
Too much. How do I say today is hot?
Noba Huabash.
Noba.
Berzej? You're going there.
Qua.
Okay, you're jumping ahead. So if I say today is hot, noba huabash. If I say today is too hot, noba huabutwash. If I say this is expensive, Mirthapas. If I say this is too expensive, mirthapatwas.
Sapash.
Okay. You're being dumb. What delas? You're being too dumb. What delatwas?
Deloash.
Ahmed, you have a question?
Yeah, I remember, is this a different phrasing? So quabadidas, is that different completely?
Yes. So who knows what didda means?
Very.
Very. Very. So if I say it's very, so no buhuabas, today it's hot. No buhuabadidas, today is very hot. No buhuabutwas, today is too hot.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Okay,
Okay.
great. Thank you.
And by the way, it's ironic. Circassian has kind of a small, it's not a literary language, so we don't have lots of adjectives, but we've got like 30 ways to say too much. You can say, Noba yagala, yagala, yagaleawa huabas, yikucha huabas, huabutwas. There's a lot of ways you can say too much.
That's great.
All right. Who, you know what? I want to give, we'll go Tamer, then we'll go Dua. Tamer.
طيب.
What? Maxima wi'a.
هوا سا ويسكي ساش.
Visky wi'as. Ar'af. Ar'af. Hamra e.
أرأف.
Ar'afs means tasty. Ar'afs.
Yeah.
What? Guzavawa wi'a.
هوا سا وزفروا سياق.
Guzavawa yi'a.
نارت وزفروا ياش.
Pej. Such hatcha.
نارت بساف ياقم.
Pej. Dawwas. Hatcha. Dua.
Sit.
Khat. Maxima yi'a.
You're asking what alcohol I have?
I'm asking you. Okay, so I'm saying chet, that's who. Maxima is this old Circassian alcoholic beverage. Chet Maxima yi'a, who has. So chet Maxima yi'a, who has Maxima?
Okay. So I wanna try to say I don't have alcohol, so I would say it.
Sa fada
Fada
si'aqam.
si'aqam.
So fada is alcohol. It's the generic form of alcohol. Maxima is a specific drink, right? So safada si'aqam.
Sefada si'aqam.
Tamam. Nart fada yi'a.
Nart. So you're saying Nart has. Oh, wait.
I'm asking you, does Nart have alcohol? Nart fada yi'a.
Hawa.
Yi'aqam. Pej yi'aqam. Sit Nart yi'a.
Nart. Nart. I'm sorry. Abi yesh juice.
So Nart guzavawa yi'ash. He has a problem. Such hacha. Why?
He doesn't have the juice. Okay. Nart se'af yakam.
Yi'aqam.
Yakam. Okay.
Nart Pepsi Cola yi'a.
Hawa. Nart guzavwa yakam.
دغوا دغوا ددا تمام تمام
That's
تمام خنش عطشة class
ست
it.
نارت بسقف خويش نارت بسقف خويش سا class
ست
ست
سا أخشى بارا أخشى بارا سا أخشى سخويش I want money. I want money. أخشى سغثاو. Show me the money. All right. So, class.
Third.
نارت أخشى خوي.
حوا
Awa. Nart Visky Hue. Awa. Nart was a vowel Hue.
حوا
Awa. Huekum. Huekum. Sit. Nart Hue.
ناربس أب
تقفي خوش
Ah, Pej. Nart Pseaf Huesh. Awa. However, Nart Pseafia.
حوا
Hawa.
هوا
Hawa. Yaqam. 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 Sit ya
وزفاغوا يأ
was a vowel yash. Sit hacha.
بس أف
يقم
Sa'af yaqam. Pej. Okay. We're going to drop you guys into the breakout rooms. I'm going to give you guys 5 minutes. We'll come back. We'll go to the next slide. Let me stop the sharing. Sharing is caring. All right. We got 14 of you guys. So I'm going to drop you into 5 groups, 5 rooms. And one of the rooms will have 2 people. If your video is off, again, if you're comfortable, I would request when you're in the room, think about turning it on just so that it's easier for people to engage. Let me enable screen sharing and let me pause the video. Welcome back.
Oh shit.
تخرزنا شوبسو وداوشت
تمام
تمام
Who's up sheet?
What's up, she? Salutations. How'd you guys like the breakout rooms?
That was good.
Amazing. Very lively conversation.
It goes faster than you might think sometimes, huh?
Oh yeah.
I dropped into a couple of them, and there's one theme that I've observed that it's useful for me to know because I can help clarify and explain something. So in many languages, English being one of them, we can construct questions by reversing word order. You are hungry. Statement. Question, are you hungry? We reverse the word order. Also, we can construct sentences by inflecting the last word. You're hungry. That's a statement. You're hungry? That's a question. Now, because we all speak English, we can hear that inflection. It sounds very normal to us, even though it's very small. In Circassian, we can do the same thing. You are a boy. You're a boy? But we have an added benefit. Listen carefully again and tell me the difference. I'm going to tell you right now. The first one is a statement. The second one is a question. And I'm going to say you're a boy. So just shout out when you hear the difference. Right? So when we make a statement in Eastern Circassian, the statement always, 99% of the time, there's a handful of exceptions, we end the statement with sasa adigas, I'm Circassian. Sasa nashchesh, I'm sad, right? We end it with a state with a ush. But if I say, am I Circassian? Sasa adiga. There's no s. Sasa nashche. There's no s, right? So like English, we can construct sentences by just adding inflection and not changing anything. But remember, if you hear s, it's probably a statement. There's no such thing as always in any language. It's probably a statement. And if you don't hear s, but you hear that inflection at the end, it's probably a question. Okay. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. We're recording. Yeah, we're recording. We're gonna do a little bit of reading practice, but reading practice with a TPRS angle on it. Okay. So this is an extract. This is a super short story. This is an extract from a children's textbook, Uchebnik по-русски, from Nalchik. And I'm going to read this to you. I'm going to read it. Ahmed has to come back in. I'm going to read it to you slowly, and then I'm going to translate it for you, and then I'm going to read it for you again. Okay. So first of all, before we read the story, this is how storytelling works. Anybody in English, what do we see in the picture?
Family.
Family. Okay. Where are they?
They're around a fire pit.
They're around a fire pit.
Like it's a fireplace.
Yep.
I
Do
see
they look
Jenny.
do they look like they're in distress, or do they look like they're having a good time?
They're in distress.
Sad.
Sad.
They're having a good
Chilling.
time. Okay, they're not in distress. I don't know.
Oh.
Maybe this kid is
Yeah,
a
that
psychopath.
kid.
Maybe he's a psychopath and he's like, hey, nothing's wrong. Come over here.
The hunchback too.
Hunchback.
I think the colors threw Newt off.
Yeah, probably. All right. So just everybody listen. Let your mind absorb the words. For a lot of you, some of these words may make sense. Zog. Zogur huabas. Zogur guapas. Da zogum de das. Nana psissa jea. Psissir halamach. Da psissum de dihachawa do dawa. Okay, so I'll do it in English now. Fireplace. The fireplace is warm. Zagur huabas. Zagur guapas. The fireplace is pleasant. Guapa means pleasant. Da zogum de das. We by the fireplace are. We are by the fireplace. Nana psissa jea. Grandmother, fairy tale, is telling. Grandmother is telling a fairy tale. Psissir halamet. You guys have heard me say halamet a couple times. Interesting. Interesting. Right? It's interesting. Da psissam de dihachawa do dawa. The we psissam, the fairy tale. The dihachawa, with great interest. Do dawa, we are listening. So one final time. Zog. Zogur huabas. Zogur guapas. Da zogum de das. Nana psissa jea. Psissir halamach. Da psissam de dihachawa do dawa. Okay. So, Noor.
Sit.
Masabihim dana sha'a.
Sabihim Jagum Shash.
Jagum das.
Jagum Dash.
Hinal.
Sit.
Mujagur de guapa.
انت
Jagur.
جاكوم guapos.
Jagur. Jagur.
Guapos.
Guapas. Guapas. Dua.
Sit.
Mer. Merchat.
Mirnana.
Arnanos. Pez. Tamer.
Sit.
Sit nana. Jea. Nana. Psissa jea.
Nana Pisaja.
Nana psissa jea.
Okay. Yeah.
Nart.
Sit.
Absisser halamet.
انت.
Sisser
سر. حلمات.
halametch. Sisser halametch. Aslan.
Sit.
Jagur. Sha'a. Hamra khwaba.
Huaba.
Khwabas.
Huaba.
Khwabas. Margarita.
Sit.
Jagur guapa.
Jagur guapas.
Jagur guapas. Tamam. Zanshawa.
Sit.
Nana sit jea.
Nana psissa jeash.
Tamam paj. Nana psissa jea. Yinjilibzitra sit psisser. In English, tell me what's psissa.
Oh, fairy tale.
Paj. Berzej.
Sit.
ما بسسر زشوغة حما حلمت.
سسر حلمتش.
ست زشوغة يمحنر.
The showa is like boring, I believe, right?
Pej. Zeshugwa is boring.
Yeah.
Our ما بسسر زشوغة.
Hawa. The showa.
زشوغة. ده دي ديرسر زشوغة.
Hawa the showa. حلمتش.
خونش وبصو.
نعم.
أحمد.
Sit.
مسابيخر يدعورة ما بسسر.
انت عصابيخر يودعوا.
يدعور. ما بسسر حلمت. حما زشوغة.
صعب.
Sarkam. Okay. Khunch. Zachichakam. He didn't hear the psissa. He didn't. Zachichakam. He didn't hear it. So khunch.
What does Dodara mean, please?
Okay. So I'm going to do one more. I'll do an in-depth translation for you. I'll go word for word. So zog, for those of you who read Cyrillic, this zh, okay, there's two sounds zh in Circassian. There's zh, and this is different. Zh. It's a deeper, richer zh, right? So jagur, fireplace or hearth, right? Huabas. Jagur guapas. So guapa. Who remembers what gu means? Heart. What does pe mean? Nose. It also means front. What does guapa mean? Pleasant or pleasure. It means both. Okay. For those of us who grew up speaking English, have you ever heard the term, he wears his heart on his sleeve?
Yes.
It means his emotions are open. They see them. So when we think that something is pleasurable, when we think that something is pleasant, guapa, we put our heart forward. Guapas. Isn't that beautiful? I'm going to tear up. The is we or us. Zogwum. Okay. So des is when I personally wouldn't use the word des here, but these are professional educators who wrote this story. So des means to be in a place that does not have any enclosure around it or a roof over it. There are many, in Circassian, we have many verbs that mean to be at a certain place. It's similar to verbs of motion in Russian, okay? So des means to be at a place that does not have walls and does not have a roof. So a lot of the time we could say now and we're trying to teach you that verb in that story, but it would be more common, equally good, but would be more common to say sa na shich sedes, because you're in a place that does not have walls around it or a roof over it. So here they are at the fireplace. The fireplace does not have a roof. It's a place, right? And it's a thing, but there's no wall around them. You could have an outdoor fireplace as well, right? And in fact, originally, zog was an outdoor thing. So they say, the, we, zogum, and then the verb is, the verb is des, but because it's we, 99% of the time, we always put a prefix in front of the verb to show who's doing it, except for he, she, or it, right? So dides, we are at the fireplace, okay? Nana, psissa, jea, she is telling a fairy tale, okay? Now, here's an important thing for those of you who speak Circassian. If I say, ar zagur ji'er, he's saying something, ji'a. But here, it's not ji'a, it's je'a. Why? Because grandmother is not just saying a fairy tale, she is telling the fairy tale to these two, presumably children. So, nana, psissa, je'a. Psissir, halamach. This is a loan word from Arabic. The psissam, the dihachawa, dodawa. Okay, so who knows what the word shha means?
Oh, no.
Sidehach is a way of saying in Circassian you're interested in something. It doesn't mean interesting in the generic sense of halamet. It means you are interested in, like, I'm interested in politics. I'm interested in religion. I'm interested in sports. I find them interesting and I am interested in them. So the hachin is where that means. Who knows what it means to say, when I say yachin?
To go down.
To go down. Sidahachin, sidahach, I put my head down. I'm interested in it, so I put my head down, all right? But it's not one person who's saying it. It's two people who are saying it. The psissam, the dihashawa, in a interested manner. Who knows what the word means? That one.
To listen.
To listen. Yadda one, to listen. Who's listening? These two people. The, do, da'wa. Sa, so, da'wa. Da, do, da'wa, sa, so, da'wa. That one is to listen, but because two people are doing it, we are the two people. We're not looking at other two people. These two kids in the story are the ones who are telling the story, right? Do, da'wa, do, da'wa. So if I were to say to you guys, class, fadawara, are you listening to me? You could say, dodawwa, we are listening. This is different, just like in English. There's a word that means to listen, and there's a word that means to hear. You know, sometimes we say, you're listening to me, but you're not hearing what I'm saying. Same thing in Circassian. Okay. The class is formally over. But if there's more questions about this, anything we've covered today, anything we've covered in the past, I'll spend another 5 minutes answering any questions people have. Wow, no questions. I see. Okay, let me stop sharing. Go back. All right. Now, what's your question?
You mentioned the word for I don't know is shwarkum, right? I've always been taught that it's tsukhum.
Okay. So both are correct. If I say I don't know, Sahatar dabsahwa. What time is it?
Mhm.
Sarkum. Sarkum. So it's there's no vowel between them. Sarkum. 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 And then it's more common on the street to hear something. Something. That's what my wife says. That's what my kids say. I learned through books, so I say sarkum. Okay. If you say sutukum, it also means I don't know, but the word for human is tsuh, tsuh, right? To know someone is tsuhun, tsuhun, to know someone. So, as'adr tsuhura, do you know that boy? As'adr tsuhum, I don't know that boy. Through many, many years, this is not a new thing, the verb tsuhun can also be used to know facts that are not humans. Do you know how to do this? Do you know this computer? So both are acceptable ways of saying you know something or you don't know something. You can use them fairly interchangeably, but if you, and you could say, I know that boy. I know that boy, right? I mean, there's some variance in there, but nothing worth getting into right now. Both are acceptable.
Okay, that makes sense.
Edge.
Yeah, I don't know if maybe I just forgot or it's at the tip of my tongue, but do we have a word for because?
Yes, we do. You ready for it?
Ready.
I
don't need it. It'd be nice to see it written, but yeah, maybe in the chat.
In the chat,
WhatsApp.
Yeah,
no worries. Later.
No, you know what? But ask me in the chat, in the WhatsApp chat, remind me, and I'll drop it. I'll spell it. I'll do it phonetically, and I'll explain. You can't use it in the same way. You can't use it in the same way that you use in English. I'll explain more in the chat, but just remind me. I'll put it into the WhatsApp group chat.
Understood.
Okay.
John,
now we'll come back.
Version?
Sorry. Go ahead.
Is that the Diga version of the word because?
Yes.
It's just, like, okay.
No. So so all right, real quick. Kachin means to come out of. Actually, kachin means to come out of. Kachin means it's coming out of it. So that. Because. And then we actually have a suffix that we add to things that means because of or by way of. No vowel between the ch. Because.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Nart.
I got 3 things to ask you.
Oh, okay.
If I want to say, are you hungry? Can I say wumajazdara?
So there might be some Western Abazak in there. My Abazak is rusty. In Eastern Circassian, we'd say wumajatara. Wumajatara. And what that means is your mouth dying?
Is your mouth dying?
So wa ma is a verb that's happening. Z is your mouth. Z. N is to die. Wumajatara. Is your mouth dying? Are you hungry? Side note, I know you didn't ask this, but it's funny. If you say you're thirsty, you say you are dying for water. Sa, pse, sechota.
Sa, se.
Sechota. Se, so sa, I, pse, water. Now we have a verb. Se is a prefix. Se, hu, on behalf of, to die. Sa, pse, sechota. I'm dying for water. That's how dramatic Circassians are. I'm thirsty.
Okay, perfect.
All right. What's your second question?
The second question is if I want to say, can I say, if I want to say, what are you doing? Can I say, lo shara?
Yeah. So yes, so the way the way to say it would be oh psar.
Soccer. Okay.
Or you can say sit psar. Now, in Circassian, there's actually two words for what. Sit is typically a tangible thing. It's not, well, not tangible, I'm sorry. Sit is typically not abstract. It's a concrete topic. Even if it's not tangible, it's a concrete topic, right? Oh is, it's abstract concept. It's an abstract concept, like imagination or freedom, right? So if you say, but you can say both. You can say, and they're interchangeable because you don't know what the person's doing. Sit psar,
And then the last question, if I want to say good night, it's we judge lehofoch.
Oh, you're mixing some stuff there. Hang on. Say it one more time. We just
lehofoch.
Okay. So let me think about this for a minute. The simplest way to say it is we just for. We just your night. We just for. Just rahat. What I think what you might be trying to say is just rahat wupuch, which is it's a Kabardian way of saying something that Abazak people say. My dad is from Syria. The village we're from is mixed. Ahmed's dad's from the similar next village over. So we mix a lot of the stuff. But the simplest way to say good night is we just for.
We just for. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
No problem. And by the way, the word for morning is shajiz, and the word for day or afternoon is mahwa. So you can say good morning, we shajiz for. Good day, we mahwa for. Good evening, we jash for. Good night, we pshahashhaf for. So Circassians have 4 times of the day. There's morning, there's afternoon, there's evening, and then there's night.
Sorry to interject, but isn't weep shashafwa good evening, not good night, or is it the opposite?
I'm sorry, you got, yeah. Jesh is night, shahashha is evening. Thank you. Thank you. Give me 1 second. Yeah, miss. All right, Yanal, what's your question?
My question is regards to water. I've always been told psa is water, but today it was juice.
Sa'af is juice.
Sa'af
is juice. Water is psa. So here's the honest truth. Circassian is not very good at generic concepts or at abstract concepts. So sa'af can be used loosely to refer to juice. It just means sweet water or tasty water, right? Af is tasty or sweet. In a lot of parts of Nalchik, if you say, by the way, where's your family from? Are they from Habrde? Are they from Cherkess or Adigea?
Cherkess.
Okay, Cherkess. So in Cherkess also, a lot of the time, F would be synonymous with lemonade. Okay. Have you ever had tarhun? Okay, so that would also be called psa'af. In reality, if you're at the store and you're going to buy like apple juice, you would say ma'arasips, right? So ps, like, well, ps means like flowing something. So psa is your flowing soul. Ps is flowing water. Leps is broth from meat. Why? Because le is meat, ps is flowing water, leps. So if you take the word for apple, ma'arisa, apples ma'arisa, apple juice, ma'arisips. Which is actually a loan word. I think it's Arabic or Turkic in derivation. Apelsin, right? Baruski apelsin is orange, right? is how we would say it in Circassian. Mips, orange juice. So, you know, we're teaching you a very generic word, which was perfectly understood to avoid this complexity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Berzej.
Yeah, so last thing for me, Pshadeh means morning, but Pshadim also means tomorrow. So, no?
No. Pshadeh means tomorrow.
Pshadeh means tomorrow.
Pshadj.
Pshadij. Oh, okay, so it's different.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I always got those mixed up. Okay, gotcha. Pshadij and Pshadeh. Gotcha.
Not pshadj. Pshadj.
Pshadij.
Yeah, it's the deeper z.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I like these questions. These are fun questions for me. I'm worried for the day you ask me a question. I'm like, I don't know the answer to that. You're like, oh, you faker. You don't really speak this language. Any other questions, guys? All right.
Good class today. Yeah, I learned a lot.
Thank you.
I'm gonna tell Yamiz to watch the recording.
Yeah, tell him you missed out.
You missed out. Yeah.
All right, guys. Remember, no class on Monday. No class on Monday. These videos, I have a part-time person who now takes all the videos from Zoom, downloads them, watches them, puts a thumbnail, puts keywords, uploads them to YouTube, and is publishing them to Facebook, right? Also, all the email reminders that are going out, they'll have a link to the YouTube channel. So I got 40 subscribers, dude. So hey, you know, we're growing. I'm up by 39. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon.
We
Bye,
just
everyone.
What are we?
Just for-
Just for.
So.
So is.